Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Down south with your family?
I brought the heat back with me.
we don't need it.
Wow, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is like hitting a wall out there.
I understand I missed a big rainstorm while I was gone.
Friday night, and that is bringing out the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
And
welcome
ticks.
back.
And Dr. Zorba Paster will be along taking your medical questions, and I think he's going to talk about tick prevention.
No, that's very important this time of the year.
They are bad.
Yeah, we'll be taking your calls as well.
And no travel problems with you? Usually you have some sort of issue.
No, knock on wood, no problems.
All right, well, that's
and
good
hope
to
everybody had a nice Father's Day yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move along, and here's what's making news on this Monday. A search continues in a lake near Portage after a teenager disappeared while swimming last night.
The U.S. Supreme Court throws a redistricting case back to the lower courts. Will have reaction from both political parties.
And the Trump administration is not backing down on an immigration policy that separates families.
Let's take a look outside today. It's been threatening to rain all afternoon.
Yeah, it rained for about 20 minutes at the noon hour. Give this corn a little drink. I think we're going to hit knee-high by the 4th of July.
Corn looks great. Looks like it's in good shape.
Yeah, this is corn growing weather, that's for sure. The heat breaks down, though. That's some good news. Karen Swanson is in the backyard. Not yet, though.
Not quite yet, but very soon. Yeah, it's going to feel tomorrow like we're in a different state than where we are today, because we'll have some much cooler temperatures by tomorrow. But for right now, it's still very warm and humid this evening. So we do still have that alert day in the forecast for this evening for that heat and humidity. Also the potential for some thunderstorms. A few could become strong and some could produce some heavier downpours of rain. Right now, the main bands of rain are down into Rock County, extending over toward the Racine and Kenosha County areas where there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. The cold front has just slipped to our south, and that's where that line of storms has fired up. But even to the north of there, we're seeing a few pockets of thunderstorms right now. So all of that is heading in an east-southeasterly direction. That cold front continuing to slowly slide to the south this evening, and it is going to be close enough that we'll keep those shower and thunderstorm chances around as we head through tonight. More showers and thunderstorms out to the west across Iowa. Those will also work in here as we head through tonight, and that's where there is a severe thunderstorm watch right now. So still a slight chance of seeing a strong or severe thunderstorm here across southern Wisconsin, but once that front gets enough to our south, we're going to feel quite a bit cooler for our day tomorrow. Right now we still have temperatures anywhere from the 70s to almost the 90s across much of the state of Wisconsin. It's 90 degrees right now in Janesville, much cooler here in Madison at 82, but still feeling that tremendous humidity. Up to the north is where temperatures dip down into the 70s, 79 right now in Wisconsin Dells. Heat index values are still very high all across southern Wisconsin. We feel like 87 here in Madison, and it feels like 100 in Platteville as well as in Mineral Point at this hour. And Platteville is also seeing some sunshine, kind of some storm clouds building with some of those blue skies mixed in between. Here in Madison, we are seeing a few more clouds, and temperatures this evening will fall from the 80s down through the 70s with those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now your first alert traffic, and I thought this was kind of a pretty view late this afternoon. This is from our Department of Transportation camera at the north shore of where the Merrimack Ferry crosses. The ferry was just there a few minutes ago loading up some of those cars, so kind of a nice sight on this late afternoon. We do have one incident to talk about. That is a stalled vehicle at Southtown Drive on the Beltline, so perhaps seeing a few slowdowns right in that area. But otherwise, we are seeing those slowdowns through some of the construction areas of Verona Road right now, also on McKee. On the eastbound side of the Beltline, those slowdowns start up right around Todd Drive and continue out past Southtown Drive. Westbound, seeing quite a few of those slowdowns right around Fish Hatchery Road. So here are some of your speeds and times in that eastbound direction. Verona Road to John Nolan Drive on the Beltline. Your average speed is right around 41 miles per hour. Heading out of town to Janesville, you're going about 63 miles per hour, and heading out to Sauk City will take you 17 minutes.
All right, so the rain's still coming, perhaps.
I'm sorry?
The rain is still coming in, perhaps?
It is, yes. I'm sorry. I'm having problems with my little earpiece that connects me to you. But, yes, still a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head through tonight and even into tomorrow as well.
All right. Thank you, Karen. I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Karen. First at 4, the search continues for a teen believed to be dead who disappeared in Portage's Silver Lake last night.
We are learning more about the recovery efforts and what comes next. News 3's Madeline O'Neill is live in Columbia County with the latest. Maddie?
Mark and Susan, this is the lake the boy was swimming at with his family last night. Police tell us a lifeguard was present on this beach, but the boy was outside of the area sectioned off for swimming when he disappeared from his inner tube. The search began at about 6 last night, and for most of today, Columbia and Sauk County have been searching. But there's a steep drop-off in the lake, and police say that's about 60 feet deep, and the water is dark, murky, and full of weeds. Officials estimate visibility at about 2 feet, if that. Drones in the sky and the water are being used to help out. Police say they've been in constant contact with the boy's family and have brought in grief counselors to help out.
Put yourself in their shoes for a minute. So they're holding it together. They've been very supportive of us and our actions, and they're doing, I guess, the best they can do right now.
Portage police say they have looked into other options, but they're confident the boy is in the lake. It's just a matter of time until he's found. Police tell us there have been drownings in this lake in the past, but it's not common. Now here right now, divers are taking a break as city officials meet to plan their next course of action. One option could be to drag the lake. Mark and Susan.
Very difficult story. Madeline O'Neill reporting live from Columbia County. Thanks, Maddie.
A Wisconsin court case that could decide who represents you at the state capitol will head back to a lower court after a long-expected ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court.
The nation's highest court decided not to rule on the broader issue of partisan redistricting. Our Rose Schmidt is in the newsroom to tell us how both sides are reacting to this news. Rose?
Well, Mark and Susan, justices unanimously ruled against Wisconsin Democrats in this case. And Wisconsin Republican leaders tell us they're very happy with this decision and were confident that the court would rule in their favor. The legislative district maps were drawn in 2011 after Republicans swept the Capitol and governor's office in 2010. But Democrats argue that Republicans in power drew those maps in their favor, meaning certain voices aren't being heard and voters are not being treated equally. Meanwhile, Governor Walker says the decision allows lawmakers to continue focusing on the issues that move the state forward.
I think the lines are fair when we sign them, and the bottom line is the United States Supreme Court, on a unanimous decision, decided the state of Wisconsin was right in its case.
I certainly think that anybody looking at these districts in the state of Wisconsin, they're clearly gerrymandered, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the voters in the state of Wisconsin that the Republicans chose to do this.
The lead plaintiff in this court case is a retired UW law professor. The court argued that because he lives in Madison and isn't directly affected by redistricting, he doesn't have standing in this case. The case now heads back to the Western Wisconsin's U.S. District Court. Coming up on News 3 at 5, we will hear from a political science professor who says redistricting is not a Republican-Democrat issue, but an issue around which party is in power at the time. Mark and Susan.
All right, Rose Schmidt, we'll see you at 5 o'clock. Thank you.
The Trump administration is doubling down on its zero-tolerance approach to border security. It has led to children being separated from their families. Angelica Alvarez reports from the White House.
Outrage is growing over the Trump administration's decision to prosecute any adult who illegally enters the country. The policy was announced in April by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, but children cannot be held in adult jails, and in less than 2 months, some 2,000 minors have been separated from the adults they crossed the border with.
The United States will not be a migrant camp, and it will not be a refugee holding facility.
This afternoon at the White House, President Trump said his administration is being scapegoated for enforcing existing immigration laws. Mr. Trump called on Congress to enact new legislation.
If the Democrats would sit down instead of obstructing, we could have something done very quickly. Good for the children, good for the country, good for the world.
But other members of the GOP are breaking with the party's line on immigration. In an op-ed in the Washington Post, former First Lady Laura Bush calls the zero-tolerance policy cruel and immoral. Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine says the current policy sends the wrong message.
That's traumatizing to the children who are innocent victims, and it is contrary to our values in this country.
Tomorrow, the president will huddle with House Republicans to discuss immigration strategy ahead of this year's midterm elections. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, the White House.
And former First Lady Michelle Obama is adding her voice to the rising chorus of criticism about the family separation policy. On Twitter, Michelle Obama retweeted a message from former First Lady Laura Bush promoting a column that she wrote decrying the policy.
About 24 Wisconsin National Guard troops are headed to Arizona to bolster border security. The Wisconsin National Guard said that Arizona officials had requested the state's help. The Wisconsin troops are volunteers from different units from around the state. FBI Director Christopher Wray went to Capitol Hill today to answer lawmakers' questions about last week's watchdog report about the Hillary Clinton email probe. The nearly 600-page document found the FBI violated department guidelines and mishandled the investigation. Wray told the Senate Judiciary Committee that he is committed to making sure the agency doesn't repeat any mistakes made during the Hillary Clinton email investigation.
This report is focused on a specific set of events back in 2016 and a small number of FBI employees connected with those events. Mistakes made by those employees do not define our 37,000 men and women and the great work they do every day.
Let's not pretend like this was some one-off problem. There is a serious problem with the culture at FBI headquarters.
The FBI is promising to retrain all of its employees. Wray said that he will not hesitate to, quote, throw the book at agents who violate the rules.
The World Health Organization announced that it is classifying excessive gaming as a disorder. The WHO added gaming disorder to the latest draft of its classification of diseases. The health body says the disorder is characterized by the continuation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. Cam Adair, the founder of the website Game Quitters, says gaming led him to drop out of high school.
Pretending to have jobs, playing video games up to 16 hours a day, and eventually actually wrote a suicide note, and that's when I realized I needed to make a change.
There's a lot of arguing, and sometimes it escalates and gets physical when the parents have to actually physically pull a controller out of their kids' hands.
The World Health Organization's designation may lead to insurance companies covering treatment. Dr. Frazier says he sees excessive gaming as a condition connected to other mental health issues, but some mental health experts have criticized the WHO classification, saying there is not enough evidence to support it.
Dane County officials are unveiling a new $500,000 emergency response vehicle. The truck is a mobile command post that law enforcement will use for communication and dispatch. They plan to use it for things like severe weather and crime scene investigations. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi said it will help different agencies in the county to collaborate.
Well, there's more at 4. When we come back, it's been 14 years since The Incredibles. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's
Loved
one of my
it.
favorites.
Well, they're back now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, Incredibles 2. Our film critic Will Loper. No, this isn't the right video.
No.
This was a problem last week. We're trying to do this promo.
It is pretty incredible, but that's not The Incredibles.
No, Will Loper will have his review next.
Denny.
Oh, President Trump signed a new space policy at the White House today.
It aims to reduce satellite clutter in space. The policy calls for providing a safe and secure environment in orbit as satellite traffic increases. It also sets up new guidelines for satellite design and operation to avoid collisions and spacecraft breakups. The president also declared that there is no place like space. At the same time, he revealed the creation of what he called the Space Force, a new branch of the military whose creation will be overseen by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Well, continued trade concerns resulted in a mixed day on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials dropped 103 points, closing at 24,987. The NASDAQ Composite Index up a half a point. The S&P 500 off 7.
It's time to make some wrong things right. Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Better than me?
Bye, sweetie.
I'll watch the kids, no problem. Hello?
Hey, honey. How are the kids?
Everything's great.
Is she having adolescence? And Jack?
He's in excellent health.
That was a clip from Incredibles 2, one of the newest movies to fly into theaters and smash box office records. Does the movie save the day, or does it get tangled up in its cape? Here to let us know, our film critic, Will Loper. Hi, Will.
Hey, Mark. No capes on this one. Incredibles 2, it's a blast from start to finish. It entertains both kids and adults alike with terrific action and heartfelt emotion. So the movie takes place in a world where superheroes are illegal. They just cause too much damage. Now, in the first movie, Dad was the one off using his superpowers, but this time around, it's Mom's turn. Elastigirl, as she's better known, uses her super stretchy body to save the day and help turn the public opinion of superheroes positive. Meanwhile, Dad stays at home, finds raising his 3 children to be quite the daunting task. Now, this movie works on all levels. So you got the thrilling superhero stuff on one side, and then the children-raising truths that we can all relate to on the other side. So no matter what age you are, you'll enjoy this film from beginning to end. I think it's just a fun ride.
It's been, what, 14 years since the first one?
14 years, yeah. The first one came out in 2004, so this has been quite a lot hype coming out this release.
And they're putting out a warning now for some viewers of this film.
Yeah, so the villain in the movie, his name is Screenslaver, and he uses strobe lights as kind of a hypnotic power, and it happens throughout the film. And so now theaters are kind of putting up warnings for those who are prone to seizures, epilepsy, that, hey, this movie uses a lot of strobe lights, so take caution.
And it bothered you a little bit.
Yeah, even me, there's this one sequence that's like a couple minutes long, and I'm like, this is pretty intense.
But all that being said,
it's
what's the rating?
Quite a good movie. I gave it 4.4 raccoons out of 5. Probably the best sequence involves the baby fighting off a raccoon.
So pretty good.
Very good, very good.
All right, up next, tag.
Please tell me what's going on here.
Our group of friends has been playing the same game of tag for 30 years.
What?
Our buddy Jerry is the best that ever played, and now he wants to retire.
Never been tagged. Just saying.
So who's it?
You can't touch this.
This is the year we get Jerry.
You can't touch this.
So the makers of this movie have asked a bold question. Can there exist a movie completely centered around the game of tag? And they have answered with a, yes, you absolutely can. Now, what's more, the movie isn't half bad. So you got 5 friends. They're played by John Hamm, Jake Johnson, and more. They're all trying to tag their untaggable friend, played by Jeremy Renner. It's ridiculous, it's over the top, and most importantly, it knows it's ridiculous. However, the premise does stretch a little thin over the 97 minutes, which is easy to do when you just have a movie all about tag. But, you know, for one watch through, it'll entertain you. Might be a rental rather than race out to the theater to see it.
An entire movie.
I mean, literally,
game of tag.
I was thinking maybe there's a little bit more to this film. No, they are literally just trying to tag each other. The entire movie.
All right, what's the rating?
I give this one 3.3 hopscotches out of 5. Over here, Hopscotch the Movie is the sequel.
Yes, that's coming soon to a theater near you. So next week.
I am off. I'm making a movie for the 48-Hour Film Project, so I won't be here.
All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll be back.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great week. And coming up after weather, a trip to London to see what's happening tonight on CBS.
I'm Terry Okita.
I'm James Corden.
What are you doing here, mate?
We brought the Late Late Show to London, and we're going to tell you all about it.
You get a sneak peek just ahead.
Take a look at this. It was an end of an era in Jacksonville as two iconic cooling towers were brought down in a controlled implosion at a power plant. The tower is part of the Jacksonville skyline since the 1980s. 1,500 pounds of dynamite and at least 2 miles of detonation cables were used to create the blast. Authorities say a Florida resident paid $6,000 for the privilege of pushing the plunger to bring on the implosion.
They are always so cool
love a
to
good
see.
implosion.
Yeah, I do too, especially nuclear cooling towers.
Goodness gracious.
It is Monday, June 18th. It is National Go Fishing Day, a perfect summertime activity. Good day for that today.
And speaking of fish, it's also International Sushi Day, but contrary to popular belief, sushi doesn't necessarily have anything to do with raw fish. Instead, vinegared rice must be used in order for the food to be called sushi.
Do you like-
That's interesting.
What do we have here?
It looks like we have,
I see cucumbers.
and I see eel sauce.
Tempura.
I'm not
It looks like a tempura shrimp.
It's good.
Do you like sushi?
Wasabi.
It's good.
Oh, I love it too. I could eat it every day.
I'm gonna go for the wasabi.
Okay.
I love wasabi.
And it is National Splurge Day. Apparently
We need to splurge on some graphics.
our director took advantage of Splurge Day. Amazon blew up in her office today. Nicole?
What did you get, Nicole?
Splurge is defined as to indulge oneself in some luxury or pleasure.
Frame
and she...
Think Tank. Hi, guys.
Just sat there. Wave, Nicole.
Busted.
You got a lot of stuff there.
Is that all for you?
And Avery.
And her
And her daughter.
Okay.
All right.
Some new shoes and a gymnastics mat.
Okay. Gymnastics mat.
Thanks, guys.
That sounds fun.
Thanks, Nicole.
I hope it wasn't a birthday present. I hope we're not ruining any
We have to go.
surprises.
All right.
Good.
So,
I want one more
yeah,
of those.
me too. So some storms coming.
Thunderstorms, yeah, we've got some heavy storms right now across some of our southern areas. Elsewhere, just some isolated stronger storms are popping up. Nothing that's severe within our viewing area right now, but there is still the potential for a strong or severe thunderstorm this evening, so we'll talk more about that outlook next. A very slow-moving cold front continues to sag southward through southern Wisconsin, and that has triggered a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings for the southeastern section of the state, including Walworth over into Kenosha and Racine County, seeing some of those warnings over the last hour or so. Nothing within our viewing area right now, but there are a couple of clusters of stronger thunderstorms, and you can see this is almost formed in a line where that cold front is to the south, and there have been some stronger storms right along that line. Here's one just across the far southern part of Rock County at this hour. Perhaps some stronger winds as well as some hail. We're looking at possibly some hail up to about ½ inch in diameter into that southern part of Rock County right now. And all of that is heading off to the east-southeast very slowly. And as this front just kind of meanders right across the region tonight, we will see continued chances for some of those showers and thunderstorms. You can see back in Iowa, these are almost heading more in an east-northeasterly direction. So some of those will be pushing into southern Wisconsin still as we head through tonight. And so right along this corridor of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois is where we may see some heavy downpours of rain through the night tonight. Some areas could be looking at 2+ inches of rain if those storms just continue to track right on top of one another. As far as the severe weather threat, it is an isolated chance here across southern Wisconsin. That's where we have that marginal risk of strong storms. There is a slight risk back into parts of Iowa right now. Tomorrow, as that front sags a little bit farther to the south, that marginal risk area heads more to the south as well. And we're looking at some precipitation estimates over the last 48 hours that have been accumulating to nothing in some spots, but some very high totals in other locations. We had that one storm that parked itself right over Dane County early Saturday morning, late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Some areas checking in with 2 to 5+ inches of rain. Another storm Saturday afternoon bringing some heavier totals to Columbia County. And there have also been some heavier totals into parts of central and northern Wisconsin over the last 48 hours. Our time lapse today shows some sunshine here in Madison, but also some of that thunderstorm development, especially into this afternoon. We had a little heavy downpour downtown just a few minutes ago. I was watching some of the pouring rains. Now it looks like the sun is back out right over the Memorial Union. 88 and 78 are temperatures today, and normals for today are 79 degrees and 59. Right now it's 82. Winds are out of the north at about 13 miles per hour. Those temperatures elsewhere are in the 60s off to our northeast, 70s, upper 80s in some spots, 88 still over toward Platteville. Feeling like 101 right now in Platteville with some of those high dew points as well as those higher temperatures. 94 is what it feels like in Monroe. Our future track heat index charts show those heat index values dropping off through the night. In fact, feeling a lot more comfortable by early tomorrow morning and staying that way as we head through tomorrow afternoon. Some of those creeping into the 70s, but that's about it. So losing a lot of that heat that we've been dealing with for the last couple of days. Now those temperatures are in the 90s down to our south, but you'll notice much cooler to the north and back to the west. That's behind that cold front. And this cold front is nearly stationary, and that's going to just kind of sag a little bit more to the south, but also just kind of meander through the region, keeping those shower and thunderstorm chances across the area through Tuesday. Wednesday, the better chances look to be early in the day, but keeping some of those clouds around as we head through the day. So tonight, temperatures down to 64. We'll see those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some could produce heavy downpours of rain, some muggy conditions as well. Tomorrow looking like a much cooler day. We'll see showers, some isolated thunderstorms with a high near 70. Here's your future track forecast, seeing those showers and thunderstorms with some of those heavier amounts along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Here comes another cluster moving in early tomorrow morning and heading across the region. As we head through the day, we'll see that off and on wet weather pattern tomorrow. Still a chance of some showers or isolated thunderstorms tomorrow night, and then much of that will be coming to an end early on Wednesday. Rain potential through Wednesday morning, seeing some of those lighter totals to the north. Closer to the front is where some of those totals will be the heaviest. Some areas checking in with perhaps 1 to 2+ inches of rain right along that frontal boundary. Those showers end early on Wednesday. Behind that, we get into generally some clouds Wednesday, but perhaps some sunshine on Thursday. Some shower and thunderstorm chances return Thursday night into Friday. A couple of slight chances through the weekend, and then more humidity into next week. It's been a wet spring.
Yeah, a little break.
We just can't seem to shake these patterns with these nearly stationary fronts that just keep bringing us round and round of rain.
But tomorrow, maybe give the AC a little breather. That'll be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget the umbrella tomorrow, but yeah, you'll want to be able to give the AC a little bit
of
of
the windows.
Exactly.
Except then the rain will come in through the window. Thanks, Corden.
Sure
Thanks,
thing.
Corden.
You've probably seen the promotional ads. James Corden is taking the Late Show back to London this week.
The British-born host gave Terry Okita a sneak peek of what he has planned.
Traffic in the British capital came to a standstill as comedian James Corden turned this London street into a stage while shooting The Late Late Show in the UK. The host wore an eye-catching Evita ensemble for one of his famous Crosswalk the Musical skits, featuring quintessential English composer Andrew Lloyd Webber.
It's kind of ridiculous to have Britain's greatest ever musical theatre composer sitting at the side of a crossing watching you perform these songs while the lights are red. Are you excited?
A legendary lineup of Hollywood stars and musical guests will join Corden this week.
Kate Blanchett's going to be there. Yeah. Orlando Bloom's coming down. Cher is on the show.
And carpool karaoke steers its way across the pond as Corden gets behind the wheel with former Beatle Sir Paul McCartney.
Is it just this?
No. The father of three even gets a job at London's Savoy Hotel in the Take a Break segment. He says his extended family, including his parents, will come from across Britain to be in the audience.
If there's a free drink, my mum will be there. That's the truth of it. You've got the flag.
Corden is now 3 years into hosting The Late Late Show and says the fun won't stop. His 40th birthday is also coming up.
I sort of don't really think it's how old you are, it's how you're old. So I've never been happier in my life. Can't do it.
Happier, busier, and more popular than ever. Terry Okita, CBS News, London.
Welcome to the Savoy. How are you?
Well, Corden says the London shows have been in the works for the past 6 months. This is the second summer in a row that the Late Late Show is headed to Britain. It airs tonight on Channel 3 immediately after the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
I can't wait to see it.
It should be fun.
Sorry, we're a little distracted. We've got a big dog here in the studio, and that's who we're going to meet when we come back.
Yeah, our pet of the week. Marissa DeGroot is here from the Dane County Humane Society with Brawny. So Live Before continues. Hi there.
Hi.
The 40 Oh, we're switching all over the place. From the Merrimack Ferry to the Beltline. Somebody and whether we're losing control of the whole operation here. All right, let's move along. It's time for Potential Yours here on Live at 4.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. Hi, Marissa.
Hello.
You've got your hands full. Who is this?
No, this big handsome guy is Brawny.
He sure is.
And he's about just a little over 1 year old.
And
what breed is he?
You know, he's some sort of hound mix. We don't really know, but he's got such a unique coat. I absolutely
I love that
it.
coat.
He's got these cool little spots, but what we can tell you is this is full grown for him, now at 1 year old, and he's looking for a family that kind of has a active lifestyle to keep up with this guy.
And he came from down south?
Yep, he came from an overcrowded shelter down south, and you probably won't find him in the shelter. He's been with us for a while, but that's because he gets a little stressed out in a shelter environment. So he's been living at a great foster home while he waits for his forever home.
But the trouble with that is people don't see him when they come to the shelter.
Exactly. So if you do come to the shelter this afternoon or tomorrow, when we open, you'll see him there. But if not, you can always just go to our adoption center. Hi, buddy. I know. And ask for Brawny, and then you can come meet him.
He couldn't be friendlier.
Oh, yeah.
Here, have some
He just wants to crawl right up on you.
Yep. But what I love about him, he is so smart. He has a wonderful sit and lay down. But being young and energetic, he wants to learn so much more, and I think he's going to do that.
Yeah, he was sitting down and laying down before.
He's got a great smile, too.
And there's more than just dogs at the Humane Society.
Oh, yeah. We've got a barn full of critters right now. We wanted to share some pictures of some potbelly pigs. We've got Hamlet and Rosie, and they are a bonded pair of pigs, so they're looking for a great home together.
And they can use as house pets, right?
Yep, I think you want to call our barn coordinator and find out a little more about their personalities, too.
And a couple of ponies?
And we got a couple of ponies. We have Mickey and Lennon. Now, they can go home separately, but they're looking for homes with kind of experienced horse people and places where they can go and live with other horses, too.
They're not house pets.
Nope, not so much.
What about our duck from last week?
Our duck did get adopted. We were so excited for him. We've had a lot of ducks in lately, and they've been finding homes very quickly. James Pond. So we're excited for that little cute guy, too.
He was very vocal.
He was.
So there's barn animals and pigs and horses and
Brawny.
And Mr. Brawny here.
All right, let's find him a home. Go to the website giveshelter.org for information on him and all the critters available. 838-0413 is the phone number. Marissa, thank you.
Thanks, Marissa. Great to see you. Good luck, Brawny. Can you sit? Can you sit?
Like maybe for a treat.
Yeah, you need a treat. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
I love
Your first alert traffic view from our Department of Transportation camera at Todd Drive in the Beltline prep shows a little heavier congestion in that westbound direction, but looking pretty good in that eastbound direction right now. We are still seeing that one incident on the Beltline, that is a disabled vehicle right around the Southtown Drive exit. Otherwise, seeing the main slowdowns from around the John Nolan Drive area out past Southtown Drive in that eastbound direction. Not too many slowdowns in that westbound direction. So here are some of your eastbound speeds and times. Verona Road over toward John Nolan Drive. Your average speed is about 37 miles per hour. Back in the westbound direction, overall looking pretty good. You're traveling around 55 to 65 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Karen, thank you. World Cup fever is taking over Mexico after Mexico scored what would be the game-winning goal in the World Cup upset over Germany. The crowd in Mexico City went wild. In fact, the Institute for Geological and Atmospherical Investigations tweeted the crowd created a man-made earthquake with its massive jumping around.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a lot of jumping around.
Get into the World Cup. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, especially now. Mexico might go all the way, they think. Well, it's time to get your medical questions answered. Dr. Zorba Paster takes your calls at 270-9933.
Zorba is standing by at his office in Oregon. Hi, Zorba. What are we talking about today?
Hi, we're going to talk about marriage and the effect of marriage and social relationships on longevity.
Hello.
It's time to get your medical questions answered. Dr. Zorba Paster taking your calls at 270-9933. Hi, Zorba.
Hi, good to be here.
So we're talking about marital bliss today.
Marital bliss, you know, so there have been lots of research studies over the years talking about marriage and social relationships, and in terms of a reduction in dementia, reduction in heart disease, and reduction in stroke. And the latest information that has recently been published in the British Medical Journal once again reinforces that social relationships make a difference. And marriage is really a proxy for good social relationships. And it really shows there's a marriage effect. Now, the marriage effect is not just the nag effect. Honey, You got to go see a doctor. Come on, we'll do it. But it really is the fact that if you are with somebody else who you love and you enjoy their company, you'll often be much more likely to actually take your advice and do something. And more importantly, as you're talking to people that you really like, you end up developing new neurons in your body. And those neurons in the body produces better brain, and it's better than a crossword puzzle when it comes to something like dementia. So the bottom line is, one day post Father's Day, stay married and make it good, or stay with a relationship and make it good. That's what it shows.
But not all marriages do end well, and there's a lot of pressure that causes divorce.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and these were looking at people who had long-term relationships. The other issue, obviously, is if the marriage doesn't work or the relationship doesn't work, quitting that relationship is very important. So they really looked at relationships with people that had relationships that were no long-term. But that's exactly it. No, it's not that you should stay married to somebody you don't want to stay married to. It's that developing those social relationships will make a difference. Now, an interesting side note had to do with hearing. They discovered in a study very recently that if you're hard of hearing and you don't have a hearing aid, you're more likely to develop dementia. And that study was very interesting because it looked at social relationships. And social relationships and speech go hand in hand. If you can't hear somebody and you can't talk to them, you don't develop those neurons. And that also affects dementia. So talking to the person that you like and being with them can make a difference.
All right, let's go to Claire in Lake Mills. She has a question about this. Zorba, or Claire, go ahead.
Hi, Doc.
Claire?
Hi, Dr. Zorba. Could you tell me, how do you heal a broken heart when there's been infidelity?
Well, you know, this is where, first of all, having somebody that you can talk to, a physician that you may be able to talk to, a minister, a priest, a rabbi, somebody who you know, a wise person who you may know, that's the first place to get advice. The second thing to do in situations like that is to look towards cognitive behavioral therapy or marriage counseling that may help you. And finally, often in the short term, antidepressants can just help you sort things out. They don't actually sort things out, but they give you that space to be able to actually be able to heal and move on with your life. Anyone I know of in my practice who has gotten divorced has always said divorce is hell, and that's because that's exactly what it is. But having that resiliency means having that strong, those people to be able to talk to who may be able to give you some good, strong advice.
For every door that closes,
good question,
another one opens. All right, yesterday in the paper, your column was about ticks and how bad they are this year.
Yes. Yes, the ticks are bad. Well, there are a couple of things that are interesting with ticks. First of all, permethrin, which you can spray on your clothing. You can buy clothing with permethrin, or you can spray it on your clothing. It's better than DEET. It works really well. The ticks, when they land on it, look like they're drunk, and they actually sort of fall off and they don't bite you. But the other thing to know is a tick has to be on you for more than one 24-hour period to actually be able to put actually give you Lyme disease. Now, if you have a tick on you and it's more than 24 hours, 200 milligrams of doxycycline, that is 2 100-milligram tablets, can often get rid of that Lyme bug that may be smoldering in your body. So I tell anybody who's in the garden all the time, going in the woods, have some doxycycline on hand from your doctor, and if the tick has been on for more than 24 hours, take those pills. But getting the right clothing can make a big difference to keeping out Lyme disease.
All right, yeah, they're pretty bad this season. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We had a couple of calls on hold, but we'll get to those next time. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling, everybody. Thanks, Zorba. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
We'll be right back.